Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Things Podcast. This is your host, Blaine Burgess. I don't know why I sound like a robot today. Maybe it's because I'm on vacation from school and been spending a lot of time, a lot of solitude, as Superman would do, Fortress of Solitude. Just getting my mind right. Like in the complete and utter, sometimes chaos of what happens during the trimester, it's easy to come unraveled in places where we thought we were solid. So yeah, I'm very grateful for this time off and the ability to meditate and consume some reading for pleasure, be creative, play a little music, write this book. If you've been following along with the podcast, writing, brainstorming, pretty much happening all the time. Just staying tapped in to my creativity, and when it comes up, just letting it out, just recording what comes, recording the transmission, as they say. I digress. Today's episode, it's episode 54, and the title is gonna be, to be completely honest with you, I didn't have this completely hashed out before I started the episode. So I am furiously typing on my computer. Okay. 54. Not tentatively, this is the official naming. It's going to be called Golden Rule. And if you know what the Golden Rule is, it is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's from the Bible, Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. So, why am I on the Golden Rule this week? I think this is really a focus of my life right now. So I realize the more conscious that I become as a human being, the more sensitive I am to when I fall short of my ideals, my expectations, and I'm more sensitive to when others fall short as well. And like we said, the golden rule is do unto others as you wish would be done unto you. So it's really true. The only control we have is over our own actions and our little sphere of influence. You know, your apartment, you get to decorate it the way you want. So that's something that you easily have control over. And I think a lot of people get confused on the difference between responsibility and control. So you can take control of yourself. You can take responsibility for yourself. You can't take control of something outside of you. Never truly. But you can take responsibility for something outside of you, given that that thing is willing or even just needs it, doesn't even have that capacity to be willing. It's a very good thing to do that, but not getting those two things confused. And that's why today I want to start off with a quote. It's by Richard Feynman. So Richard Feynman was one of the extremely intelligent folks working on the Manhattan Project of the Oppenheimer fame, the atomic bomb. And his quote is, "You must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool." So I think in my life, I can look back and see I have fooled myself at times, oftentimes around failure. So when I fail in life, it's because I fooled myself leading up to it. And when you can be honest about that, it actually does give you a decent amount of power. You know, you realize what you can control, which is not fooling myself. And that doesn't mean to become callous and hardened and guarded and worried about fooling myself. Like, it's really an invitation to trust yourself. Know that you're worthy of the things you desire. And then just not fooling yourself when it comes to trying to obtain them. You know, if something is a little bit too easy, this is one of my favorite marketing things, but like if something is free, you're the product. So again, like social media, like if you go viral on social media, you're doing, you know, say Instagram or Twitter, like a huge favor. You're bringing people to the platform and your viral post is being talked about online. You're not necessarily being compensated directly for that. Now you may be able to capitalize indirectly, and that's the idea. But again, it's a social media really not taking responsibility for you, but also taking control, you know, of your creativity, of your life force. So you are the product ultimately. And as you know, someone who has a podcast, someone who is a creative, of course, I want to create something and I want it to go viral. I want to be popular immediately. I want to be a college football player right now and get a couple million from a collective real easy. And I'm not really even the best version of myself yet. You know, I think it's attractive to want something before you deserve it, if that makes sense. I think this happened to me early on in life and was a bad example for me of what life is. Towards the end of high school, I had all the Ivy League schools recruiting me. And to be completely honest, I didn't really have to do anything other than do the Common App and, you know, talk with the coaches and, you know, very minimal stuff. But they wanted me for my talent, and I didn't really have to work for it. And there's something to be said for both me being the product, so they needed me to make their team successful, but also me not understanding that and me thinking that everything in life of that type of value, like that valuable opportunity, would come in that form. You know, I would come to kind of expect, you know, hey, if I just keep bumbling along, you know, good stuff's going to happen. And that's just ultimately not true. You know, I got very, very lucky. And, you know, luck has to find you working hard. And it's not to say I didn't work hard, but my natural talent definitely played in a lot to the opportunities afforded to me. And I hadn't really learned how to work hard and magnify my talents yet. So all that to say that, once again, when I look back at my life, and I say failures, but I mean times when I do things that aren't aligned with who I truly am at my core, times where I don't express my best self, I look and I was deluding myself about the significance of something, the significance of my value in relation to an opportunity I got, the significance of, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's not, you're not getting a good opportunity by pure luck. You're not getting it because you are that valuable inherently. You also don't go through hardship because you deserve it. Like, life is just happening, and it's really actually impartial and impersonal. And once again, you don't have as much effect on the outcome as you think. The only thing you can do is control your choices. So today, obviously being about the golden rule, it's also about honesty, because I think within the golden rule, I want to be honest with others, because that is the most direct way, that is a straight line to getting exactly what I want. And I hope that others would do the same, because then it affords me the opportunity to get them what they want directly. And continuing that conversation and being able to change what it is you want over time and all that good jazz. Just an ongoing changing conversation. And I'm saying all this because, first, I haven't always been honest with myself, but once you become honest with yourself, then probably 10 to 100 times more difficult. It's easy to admonish yourself in private, or to be honest about a negative feeling, especially, or a positive feeling that you're scared about. It's pretty easy to do that inside, but when you have to share it with somebody, that's very vulnerable. And people who tell the truth are often very vulnerable. Because you're just naked out in the open, like your desires, your approach in life are just there for everyone to see. And as I've become more and more honest in my life, I've noticed two things. So one, I get what I want more than when I try to tell a story, a fabrication, even a white lie or a half truth. Can maybe get you what you want in the short term, but it can't get you what you want in the long term. And that's what I mean about telling the truth, is like fleeting success really doesn't mean anything, because it's going to leave. You want lasting, permanent change. Nothing is permanent, but if you want something that is stable, can be depended on in your life, you got to just tell the truth and pursue it to the maximum. In doing so, I'm not saying that I get everything I want, but I get what I want more than I ever have. And this requires being able to deal with disappointment, because when you ask for what you want and you're vulnerable and someone says no, it is frustrating. It's upsetting. And that's something that you just got to deal with. And honestly, the best thing to do is double down, be open to restating, like, hey, well, that's not what you want right now. Just to let you know, the invitation is open in the future. I wish you'd reconsider. Let me know. And that kind of is something I've been, like a mantra I've been using, is leave space for a miracle. So if someone isn't on board right now, you can leave space for them to have a change of heart. It may be something that's way outside their scope of ability, or, however you want to call it. But you just never know what's going to happen in their life that may cause them to change their mind. And honestly, too, someone could be scared and just not ready to share their truth. Like, their truth is that, like, hey, I really want to do this with you, but I'm deathly afraid, so I'm going to say no. So they say no, but if you leave space for that miracle, they can overcome their fear which is a miracle in and of itself, because fear can be very damaging. And when they do, they have space to come back and say, hey, remember that thing you wanted? I would love to do that. So that kind of dance of vulnerability. And to go back to last week's episode, we have the paradoxical triangle. So you have honesty within yourself, so you're not fooling yourself. You have direct honesty with another person, and then kind of the hidden third thing is honesty of listening. So hearing someone, and this is kind of an intuition, kind of heart thing, but hearing someone and really hearing them. And what I mean by that is they're going to say some words which have a meaning to them. That meaning could be different from what they have to you. So that's first and foremost. On top of that, what was their intention behind that? Were they being honest or dishonest? And then 3, how likely are they to change their mind about this thing? Is this a kind of permanent thing in their mind? Is this like a closely held value, or is this something that they're having an emotion about? And I can tell you, like, even just thinking of the term active listening, I mean, even the most active, conscious, present listener is going to have to do these things very quickly. The better your heart and mind are attuned to situations, the better, because there's nothing that's ever like 100% true. And I think people too are fooling themselves inside a lot. So communication, there's another quote. It's like the biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it took place. So if somebody is stuck, it could basically negate that entire conversation and effectively render a stalemate. And you know, you can probably sit there and split hairs about something someone said, the way they said it. You can repeat their statement back to them. You can tell them, hey, is it based on that? This is how I'm going to proceed. Does that sound right? You know, asking clarifying questions. And you can tell oftentimes like a level of honesty and vulnerability for someone that's not ready to be honest and vulnerable is going to be threatening. So this is the toughest part of this approach, is you also have to be ready for a counterattack when no attack was launched in the first place. And I don't know if this is because dishonesty seems to be rampant in our society, so everyone's just used to playing the game. It makes people uncomfortable when there's no games. And I think the easiest thing to do is, again, clarify, ask questions, get curious, and then set your course, and then just watch what happens. Watch the actions of the people involved. And actions will tell you everything you need to know. And unfortunately, no matter the reasoning, if the person's fooling themselves, if they're consciously doing something to subvert, you know, whatever the agreement is because they're scared, ultimately you have to, you know, hold that person accountable. And again, like, if this person is a counterattack type person, you got to be ready for the counterattack. And even though you're not attacking, even though you're just saying, hey, we agreed on this and then this is not happening. I mean, this is the basis of law and contracts because people do this. This is a deeply ingrained feature of human nature. So, and I say all this because I've been on both sides of this. I've been mired in fear, unable to stick to an agreement. I've been afraid of you name it and not done what was required of me. And so I do have empathy and compassion. But it also, at the end of the day, there has to be, life is about movement. It's about entropy. You know, we're all moving from our starting state to our end state. And change is the only thing that's constant. So if you run into someone who repeatedly is unable to go with the flow of life and change, is unwilling to shape it in a collaborative way, either they don't engage or they try to control everything. You know, it's a collaborative effort to build a future in an ideal world. Make a future that's better for everyone is at least my goal, and you know, using the golden rule to do that. I think this is at least right now something I'm just very focused on and aware of. And I think it's the most important thing in life right now, just based on where humanity is. You know, I feel like we're kind of on the precipice of evolution. It could be in a good way or a bad way. And what it's going to require is just a ton of honesty. I think I've been radically honest. There's ways to take honesty and deliver it in a way that's a little easier to stomach. Maybe pair it with some type of, you know, positive aspect of life. I mean, it's just a choice that you have to make. It's a choice that I've made to hold myself responsible, really, and not delude myself from what life is and what our mission should be here. So that's kind of the series of books that I'm writing, is kind of taking initiative, doing everything you can to kind of become a complete person. And then at the end of the day, like I was saying, like the invitation part, you know, being a beacon of light for people and saying, hey, like, come this way. And we can do this. We can co-create the future. We can make a better world, even in our little pocket of the world, in our little community. And doing so really well can be inspiring for others. And again, like, it's just a constant, infinite invitation to just, you know, choose better. And I'm going to end by saying it's never going to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. I have been more honest in the last year than I've ever been in my life, I think. And caught myself fooling myself and holding myself accountable. And it genuinely is difficult, and you're going to screw it up, and other people are just going to add to the chaos. So you think you have yourself in check, just add someone into the mix, especially someone that you know, you care for, you know. So like, family is always highly charged, close friends, romantic partners, people you admire, just someone in business that's doing well and you admire them, but then they, you know, kind of show their teeth a little bit. You got to have a little bit of that to survive. But once we're out of survival mode, how can we domesticate ourselves without losing the core of who we are, the core drive of what a human being is, to expand and grow and evolve, once again, hopefully in a positive way. And I think we all hold power with our choices to shape that trajectory of humanity in our own little sliver, however many 8 billion people on the planet. I'm 1 in 8 billion of a sliver that can help push the tide forward or hold us back. We have a lot of people that hold us back. We have a lot of people that push us forward. The more people that choose, say if 5 million or 5 billion of those people choose to push us forward, I think we're in a pretty good spot. I'm very excited about the future of humanity. So, with that said, I think it's important to have that balance of knowing what's in your control, following the golden rule, not deluding yourself, and just choosing every action, being conscious, choosing every action based on, what's going to be best for the evolution of humanity. Like what does a future human look like? What should it look like? I'm going to put that hat on. I'm not going to act out of self-interest. Obviously want to survive because I want to, make my way and do well for myself and my community. But at the end of the day, how did I affect my little corner of the world? Did I inspire anyone? I think this is really important. And as much as I can, I bring myself back to that focus as often as I can. And I catch myself quicker and quicker when I stray from the path. So I challenge you, if you're listening still, to do the same. Catch yourself, do better. Think about how you could improve. Do so often. Become a better human being and push the path of the future human to where it needs to go. Until next time, this is Blaine. See you later.